going on, guys? Welcome to another video. This video here, going to do a bit of a DIY, a little bit of a bogan DIY. Going to be installing these HARDRACE lower control arms in the DC5. These will actually fit a EP3, DC5 and a CRV, I believe. Excuse me. I've run into a problem already though. The lower control arms for a DC5 EP3 and a CRV have a 10-point star 17mm socket, or 17mm bolt I should say, and that's the socket you need to get the 3 bolts, the big 3 there, out of the factory lower control arm. Now I don't have that. I've asked the question and I have a friend that does have one, so I can borrow it, but for reference sake I'm going to use a bit of propane, heat them up and use a pipe wrench. You might have the same kind of tools, vice grips or something laying around, just in case you run into the same problem and you can't source one of these or source it within a certain amount of time or whatever the situation might be. Alright, so all I'll be using, a bit of propane. I believe I got the torch here somewhere. Flint around, yep. Bit of torch head there. I'm going to be heating the 3 bolts. I'll get out of the car soon. I need to get changed, I just finished work. Then I'll come out, jack the car up and show you the 3 star bolts and why they're different, why they don't fit a normal socket. Pain in the ass, I know. But what I'll be doing is I'll be heating them, and then I went and got this pipe wrench, just a cheapie. I think this cost me maybe $35 Australian dollars, so probably a whole lot less in the United States. I'm going to chuck this bad boy on, probably a breaker bar because I presume they'll be on there fairly tight. This is only 12 inches, so probably, yeah, chuck another pipe on there. And then I'll walk you through that. Hopefully I get it off. If not, well, I'll grind it off. I'll cut the bloody thing off. I don't really care. I don't need them. And we'll see what we can do to get them off without the correct tool. So I got my propane. Obviously I'm going to be cautious of the fuel tank, fuel filler, the evap canister or the charcoal canister, whatever you want to call this one. I'm just going to heat these 3 bolts up and slap this bad boy on there. I haven't really used one before. See how it goes. And try and get these buggers off without having to take the whole car apart. Actually, you're probably wondering why spend $25–30 on one of these when you can just buy the socket. Well, honestly, because the socket I'm going to use once, whereas this I'm probably going to use a few times. Well, once I work out how to use it, that is. Probably going to use it a few times after that. Only need the socket once for this particular car. I don't see myself needing to do it in the future again. The bolts for this, the HARDRACE kit actually comes with replacement bolts because it's a thicker unit, so I won't need it to put them back on. And I just like to try things, I guess. Try and just get it done with what I have. It's kind of like the challenge of building a car. And yeah, you might be in the same situation, so trying to help out with that so you don't try all this different stuff and it doesn't actually work, because it might not. Still publish a video. And yeah, hopefully it does go well. Work out how to use these. A bit of a spring action in there. What I don't want to do is end up scraping up the inside off my wheel either. I just had those painted recently. Oh, look at that. Oh, easy. Oh, not even trying. So there you go, guys. If you do happen to have, this is just a normal 17. No, that's not gonna fit. I've got some old vice grips here. Try and work her out. So, you could probably do this with vice grips themselves actually, if you can manage to get the, depending on your vice grips, you'd need to have the bolt right in the good teeth, right in there. These ones are a bit knackered. These are my welding ones. They're a bit knackered, so you might get away with a pair of vice grips if you do get it nice and hot. But heat is definitely an essential component of doing this without the right socket. Oh, look at that though. Beauty. Now, it is hot, so don't take it out and put it in your hand to have a look at the 10 points. Let's see how long she is. Usually, there you go. Oh, yeah, she's pretty big actually. Pretty decent sized bolt there. Looks like they use some kind of either anti-seize or some form of thread locker on there. I think probably thread locker. But I will whip through and get these other ones off and just chuck you in a time lapse for this one. So here's our last bolt. There's this whole bar here, and looking at the bushes, I'll get you a close up there. You can actually see they're completely torn. Actually looks like they're twisted, but you can tell that is pretty cactus, and it's right through both sides. So thankfully we'll be replacing this. I'm actually going to chuck it on the scales and weigh it too. Right. So we got this one off, and not sure how well the video showed these bushes before, so I'll just do another take and see if I can get them in there. You can see that is fairly well destroyed. It's the same both sides. Now it would explain the sloppiness. I think they're just flat steel, cold rolled and drilled, to be honest. A very simple kind of deal. On a budget. This is actually the base model car as well, so I'm not sure if these are different throughout the Type R's and stuff, but yeah, pretty cheap, easy alternative I guess. If you bend one, it's going to be cheap to replace, easy to replace. Anyhow, that is that. That is the OEM stock roller control arm, and here we have the HARDRACE. Nice box, comes nicely packaged without decent hardware for normal people that don't use 10-point sockets. Looks like 10.9 grade bolt, sturdy. Because the actual lower control arm from HARDRACE is a thicker item, they provide the hardware for it, which is bloody good. Get these side by side. Single-handedly remove this. Let me drop it. Done. Alright, and what do we got here? Small warning, probably for track use only or something similar like that. Always read your instructions, and I guess all liability is up to you for installing or having someone install it for you. So we got a HARDRACE one, and we got a factory one there. And that is a beautiful piece. Nice, simple, brand new hardened rubber bushes for this one. I believe you can get these in spherical as well for a little bit, not too much, a little bit more additional price. But you can see the bush is not torn, not split, which is just essentially what you want, really. Nice little logo there, and overall a pretty good quality piece. It's actually pretty light comparatively. Like, it is a bigger item, no doubt. That's just plastic, considerably thicker. You can look at that, and look at this. I might add, this is actually still hot. So what I'll do actually now is I'll bring up my paint scales here. Turn these bad boys on, and we'll get some weights. Alright, 1 kilogram or 1.1 kg for the OEM one. No bolts, just the bush. No bolts, just by itself. 1.1. And let's have a look. Right. Oh geez, alright. Considerable savings there. So if you're all about the grams, saving every single gram, there you go. Lightweight race car. 100 horsepower, 100 kilowatt faster, or even actually, where are we? I apologise, this actually fell out of the box. There we go, earlier. Well, that's a good 50 kilowatt extra there. The HARDRACE sticker that comes with these. So you're already ahead of the game, already ahead of everyone else. And it's blue, it's shiny, how can you go wrong? You need, first up, so you want to use Permatex Red, permanent thread locker. A good whack of this stuff on there because you sure as shit don't want this stuff coming off. So I'm just going to do that. Washer's on first so you don't smear it all up the washer when you put the bolt on. Put the cap on, pro tip. You don't stand on the bloody thing and then have to go buy more. And once you've got your thread locker on your bolts, you just want to give this stuff a quick wipe down. It doesn't need to be perfect, just a little wipe down. I've actually got some molly grease here. And I'm going to use a very, very small amount just on the edge of these bushes. I haven't actually tried to test fit it yet, but you want to make sure this doesn't have any petroleum or anything in it, because that is not good for rubber bushes. Put a little bit of lube on there, make it a little bit easier. Hands, a little bit easier just to kind of tuck in. No, maybe not. If it is tight, use a little bit of grease. If not, wouldn't worry about it. Now that I'm holding this with one hand, I actually forgot to put thread locker on this bolt as well. So I'll do that single-handedly. It's like taking your groceries upstairs. Do it all with one hand in one trip. Give it a quick wipe. Now, the most important part of all of this is that. Only finger tight. Now you only want to do it finger tight, because if I have it hanging down like this and I send it with a rattle gun and then a breaker bar, which you should always use, I might add, it is going to catch the bush, and when you go to stretch it back up, you notice mine will torn, and I believe that is actually from using lowering springs, and it's just kind of moved the lower control arm into a bit of a weird angle for it after it's been fixed. So what you need to do, finger tight, bolt it all together, both sides, drop the car onto the ground, go sit in it, shake it around a bit, push it up and down so it settles, and then come under and tighten it with a breaker bar. And that will ensure that the bush is sitting in a neutral position when the wheels are just sat, when it's just sitting. pushing outwards while the car is on jack stands. And if you haven't already noticed, they're already looking bloody good. Well, this one at least. Now, rattle gun, a little bit by a little bit. Like so. I don't believe there is a torque setting. Well, no, that's a lie. I can't be bothered finding the torque setting. So, all I am gonna do, chuck that bad boy on there. Now I am gonna get my breaker bar and probably do it about, well, actually considering how loose they were anyway, I'm just gonna nip them up like so.
A few moments later.
Alright guys, so now that you've got your lower control arms in, she's sitting back down on the ground. All your bushes are nice and set. Grab your rudder gun, or your ratchet, whatever you're using. Send her home. Both sides. Alright guys, so that's the lower control arms in. Didn't have to use the specific tool, the 10.17mm socket. It would have made my life a lot easier on the rattle gun them off. But if you are stuck in a bind, working on a Sunday or something, and you find you just need to get them off, vice grips, the jaws that I used, and a bit of heat, you'll get them off no problem. Remember to obviously put the car back on the ground nice and level before you tighten up your bolts, otherwise it's a pretty simple task. Looks bloody good comparatively compared to the OEM, and they're actually about half the weight as well. HARDRACE ones, I will add, are about half the weight of the OEM. So that is done and dusted. Hope you enjoyed the video, and like, subscribe, leave in the comments your thoughts on what they look like. Do you like them?